And into round 2 we go. My opponent put me on the play, so he clearly has some kind of slow but low curve deck like mine. And my hand was pretty good, so yeah, not much discussions to be had there, whether it's a keeper or not. About making this spell bomb, I figure, like, if he's got an X1, he's probably not going to make it anyway, and I want to draw into cards, because I want to, obviously with my 5 and 6 drop, I want to be able to get the draw off the spell bomb out of the way as soon as possible. So I think it's better to get the damage in now with a spell bomb, because I don't think it will actually stop him making X1s. Like, if he's got an X1 and he kept it on turn 2, I don't think he's going to go, oh, he made a spell bomb, he's going to make it anyway, because he'll be thinking that I thought, well, I've got another artifact so I can make the spell bomb. So I think, even though I have the Embersmith and only one artifact, which is a spell bomb, it's fine to just make it now and get the card draw out of the way, because my mana's going to be used up for the next few turns, and I need lands for that to happen. So, yeah. He doesn't actually attack here, which is interesting. It suggests, I initially think it suggests he doesn't want to block. He doesn't want to trade, and so he's unlikely to block. Like, basically, I think it means he's got a bunch of equipments, and he knows his Shikari can get really good in his deck. So I just think, well, I'm happy to attack here then, and he does block, so I guess it was just a defensive thing. But that does then tell me that his hand has pretty much nothing, or that it has a bunch of X1s. So if it has pretty much nothing, then that's obviously good for me, and if it has a bunch of X1s, then I'll keep my Cerebral Eruption, not use it too willingly in a way. But yeah, the option's quite a good draw at that point if it does mean he has a bunch of X1s. And he obviously thought if he attacked last turn, then his thinking was basically if he attacked last turn, I won't block, take 2 and attack him back for 2, and he'd rather just trade creatures. Which, yeah, that was the other option. Like, it basically meant that my initial thought of him wanting to keep his Shikari was wrong, basically. But having him trade does mean that he's quite scared of Embersmith, or that he doesn't actually have ways of abusing Shikari. So I'm not going to board in Disperse where I otherwise would. Because if he'd kept the Shikari, I would have just snap-boarded in Disperse, because it means he's wanting to kill me with equipments. But yeah, he arrests my Sphinx, I make an eel, he taps it, I draw another Sphinx. How lucky. And that's why I don't really like Tunnel Magnet, because it's only going to tap my guy for 3 turns. It's basically only good when you're ahead, because he's behind now, and all it's doing is just gaining 3 life a turn for 3 turns. It's like a Trigon of Mending at the moment that doesn't recharge. It's a bit cheaper, but it also doesn't recharge. But yeah, I just keep tackling the flyers. I'm not going to Volition Reins at this point, because he has nothing that's particularly threatening me. However, Hippogriff is a pretty good Volition Reins target, because it's both stopping me winning, and it will speed up my clock quite a lot. Also, if you revoke Existence as Volition Reins at this point, or even in Gloom Point Stags, it wouldn't bother me, because he wouldn't be able to bring back anything with Raise Hippogriff, and then my Eruption, if it hits, will just still kill his guys anyway. So, yeah. I'm not sure why I'll just pause it for a second. I'm not sure at that point why he equipped Gloom Point Stag and not Gamma's Warden with Strider Harness, because I'm obviously not going to trade my Hippogriff for a Stag, because I'm winning the race in the air. And if he quits Gamma's Warden, he gets in for 6. But he must have had a reason for doing that. I'm just not sure what it was, basically. He might have just forgotten it gives haste. In which case, why is he playing Strider Harness? But yeah, I don't know. Like, it just seems like there's literally no reason why he would want to equip Stag over Warden. But he did anyway, so I should be on 11 at this point. But I don't think it matters entirely, because he's on 3 and needs a Sunblast, and then even then he would need me to miss on Cerebral for a bunch of turns. So yeah, but he doesn't have Sunblast, and I don't need to show him the Cerebral. Like, I could have actually gone for the kill on Cerebral last turn, but obviously I don't want to show him if I don't have to. Game 2, I took the Clone Shell out again, and I boarded in a Stoic Rebuttal, because I figured he might have some bombs, basically. He's mono white, and I didn't see that much power. Like, I saw Hippogriff, which is worth Stoic Rebuttaling, and I didn't think he was particularly fast either, because he chose to draw. And Rebuttal's much better on the play, where you can put some stuff on the board and then have Rebuttal up. So yeah, just based on the way he played and what I saw, I thought Rebuttal would be much better. Game 2, I kept if you want to go back, and I'm not going to discuss that hand again. I didn't really want to go to 6. I had Perilous Mere to play, I only had 2 lands, but then my deck is quite heavily land based. Like I have 17 lands and 3 mana mere to draw in the next 3 turns, so I get the 3rd land, which is pretty lucky, but as soon as I do get to 4 mana, obviously my hand is pretty good. He does actually have the Infiltration land, which surprises me that he was so happy to trade the Sunspear Shikari, especially when he then didn't make any X1s. So kind of none of the things I worked out being reasons why he would want to trade Shikari turned out to be right, so maybe he just, I don't know, he just wasn't thinking about it that much, basically. I was just overthinking, and he was just doing stuff. Because, from what I saw, he had no real reason to want my Embersmith dead. But, yeah, at this point... Sorry, I'm getting a bit distracted and just talking. At that point, I basically figured it's Cerebral Eruption, or take a bunch of damage. If I miss... it's unlikely that I miss 2 turns in a row. I mean, obviously it's possible, but I figured if I do miss 2 turns in a row, it means he's then drawing 2 lands in a row, and he's quite mana screwed at the moment. He missed a land drop. Oh no, sorry, he didn't miss a land drop. Or did he? Yes, he did, sorry, because I missed a land drop as well. So I figure he's got 2 lands in a row, then it means I'm just making a Sphinx, and I'm taking like 5 because I don't want to trade my Sphinx. So, and I don't want to block the Sunspear because of Infiltration land, so I'd be taking 3 in the air, 2 off that, go to 11. He then draws a land he can play something with. If I miss again, he'd then have another land. I'd still be in the same situation. I'd maybe get Trigon down, shrink something, shrink a Ledamir, but then he might have rebuilt Metalcraft. So I just figured the best way for me to win at that point was just to go for Cerebral Eruption and hope it hits in one of the next 2 turns. Because if it misses the first turn, he's not going to make any guys. So it still slows him down quite a lot. I'd take 6 on the swing back and then try and hit again. So I figured that basically in a situation where Cerebral Eruption is missing twice, I'm losing that game if I don't play Cerebral Eruption anyway. So yeah, that was my thinking behind just going for Cerebral Eruption there. And I hit, so cool. I was hoping to draw a land there so I could Trigon my Imperialist Mirror and kill his Palladium Mirror, just to keep him off mana, but it turned out to not matter a whole lot anyway. Tap my Imperialist Mirror, he's not going to block, but I also am not going to block his guys because he has a Flyer and Infiltration Lens guy. I also, yeah, the reason I didn't play anything in my turn is I wanted to have Stoic Battle and Trigon up because I didn't want him to reassemble Metacraft. My plan here was to kill my Imperialist Mirror, kill this with the ability, take him off Metacraft, and then block Sunchaser, but obviously that entire plan just goes apart if he makes an artifact. So the plan would only work out if I kept it Star Rebuttal, and it worked out fine because he made an artifact, I rebutted it. So yeah, he's now going to attack. I'm going to do exactly what I said. Just start clearing the board, because my hand's quite stacked basically, and so I'm fine to just trade off a bunch of resources, even if it's kind of an effective 3 for 2 for him. It doesn't really bother me, because once I get on the board, it's going to be much better for me. I just make the Mirror here so I can Mirror and shrink with Trigon, and then I'll just have more mana to do stuff next turn. That was the main thinking behind that, rather than just running out an Artisan or a Sphinx into a rest. This way, if he draws like a pumping equipment, he has to draw it this turn to save a Shikari, otherwise after that it's irrelevant. I draw a turn Slag, which is quite good considering he has all these equipments, but I just continue the plan of shrinking his Shikari and making guys. I'm not too bothered about losing value on Metalcraft if it means I'm gaining value on mana efficiency. I then make my Artisan, still not making the Sphinx obviously because I want to make it with Metalcraft. And this is a point where I'm an idiot because I guess not worth play. I just didn't think about it basically. I have no excuses for what happens now. I just didn't even consider it. I thought he was drawing dead or drawing like 5 and 6 drops. But obviously he has the Dispense Justice. And I even said in the chat, probably should have seen that one. I was so embarrassed I thought I'd justify it by telling my opponent. But trying to get something. How do I get this chat to go away? Go away so I can... There we go. Yeah, so the other thing was last turn I also didn't make the Sphinx and I didn't make turn Slag because I've seen 2 arrests in his deck. So I don't want to make the Sphinx until I've got Metalcraft, and I also didn't want to turn Slag because even though I get a bunch of I get 3 for 1, kill all his equipments. These equipments are actually not that relevant unless he has a creature in play. And so I figure he couldn't have just had Dispense Justice in his hand. He must have had something else that cost 5 or 6. So even if I get a 1 for 1 and kill a sick creature, it's much better than getting a 3 for 1 and killing equipments. So last turn I just pass a turn expecting to take 1 damage. He made a Hellkite and I kill it with Turn to Slag, the one I didn't use to get rid of load equipments. So I managed to, I redeemed myself a bit after attacking straight into Dispense Justice by not getting trigger happy with Turn to Slag. I think a lot of people would have just gone, well, here's easy 3 for 1, I'll go for it. But yeah, obviously I figured Dispense Justice was one of the cards he had in his hand, but he had 3 cards, and he would have played something if he had it like the turn before or something. So yeah, he couldn't have had 4 lands and 3 Dispense Justice or something. He must have had a big creature as well. And yeah, I just figured I'd rather get that big creature with my Turn to Slag, which I did. I'm thinking about drawing Volition Reigns here, which would be pretty cool because it means I can start blocking his Sunspit Shikari and actually draw it, so that's a bit of a mize. My opponent has drawn pretty well this game though. He's got like 9, 10, 11, 9, 12, 13 spells to 5 lands at that point. But yeah, I don't want to block with my Iron Mirror just because I'm still trying to assemble Metacraft and I'm fine to take 1. I Volition Reigns the Infiltration Lens for the reason I said, basically because I can't make Reigns and Sphinx in the same turn. And it also gives me the 3rd artifacts for Sphinx. So if I Volition Reigns the Infiltration Lens, I build Metacraft and he might not actually notice if I leave the lens there. So if I then make the Sphinx, he might arrest it and I can blink it out. So rather than going Sphinx and then Volition Reigns, obviously it's better to go Volition Reigns than Sphinx, so that when the Sphinx enters play I have Metacraft. And it also means I can now block this, which he might not notice. I can now block this and draw 2 myself because the triggers go on the stack for me and not him, which is actually something he doesn't notice. He just attacks into it, doesn't even use a Tom Magnet. So I Flight Spell my Iron Mirror. He's probably a bit confused as to why I'm doing this because he obviously doesn't know how the Infiltration Lens works at this point if it's mine. So yeah, I just get a bit excited about this. Flight Spell on my Iron Mirror, draw a card, double block, draw 4 cards. So my plan of him not knowing worked out, and I draw 4 cards for absolute free and kill his guy. And at that point he just concedes out of shame. I'm pretty sure he couldn't take the embarrassment. Like, we both messed up that game, but turned out that I came out better from it. I mean, my deck is pretty sick, so like there's the other Volition Reigns there, and the New York Replica is always good to have. But yeah, I will see you in the final.